So, obviously, the biggest star in basketball is, of course, and it has been for the last 20 plus years, is LeBron James. He made a guest appearance on the Pat McAfee Show. They're obviously playing the Pacers tonight. As this is coming out, it's probably around this game time. But LeBron addressed a lot of, I guess, hot topics, if you will. I mean, the media, his legacy. He compared players from different eras. I mean, that was a side of LeBron, and I'll get into that, but I have never seen that side of LeBron before. It was like a completely different vibe. For the most part, I loved it. I mean, I'll dive into everything that, he talked about. There were some things I guess I kind of agreed with, didn't agree with, but you guys know I rock with LeBron. I mean, he's my favorite basketball player. He's from my home state, and he's just super fun to watch, and he brought my home state a ring and everything. Like, he brought my favorite team a ring. Like, let me tell you, we would not have a single banner without LeBron. You look at those 5 finals banners you see when you look up at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. He was a part of all of them. And then that number 1 banner, of course, is that 2016 championship. So I'll forever be grateful to this man. And, I've watched him on the Lakers. I love watching him. I root for him all day, every day, always will. But he called out some interesting, I think this is just 20 plus years of, I guess, frustration, if you want to call it. He just let loose. And I honestly, I had no problem with it. But I wanted to just talk about it. He had different conversations being talked about. And obviously, this was hilarious to me. I mean, he called out Stephen A. Smith. He said his media presence was like a Taylor Swift tour. I mean, he went on Fox News. He went on Gilbert Arenas' podcast. He had his own show. Obviously, he spoke on First Take about this. So he claimed that Stephen A. would be in his tidy whities enjoying watching LeBron mention him. And he just claimed that he basically loves the attention, essentially. And he said he turned a small moment into a week-long debate where it just made it bigger than it needed to be. And LeBron, I mean, I've never heard him call out Stephen A. Smith, live on air. But that was that was crazy. It's impressive how he goes this long without talking about Stephen A. Smith, and then he just brings up and absolutely just buries him. I mean, I didn't realize he had this level of, I guess, dislike to him, but that's also because Stephen A. brought it upon himself by talking about it so much. LeBron made it clear, his issue was basically, it wasn't just Stephen A. It was just the way that the media spins narratives, and they feel like they make it personal in a way. And a lot of time, I guess, is spent dissecting things that just don't matter. And his issue is not with Stephen A's, basketball critiques. It's more so that he felt it got personal when he said, "I'm pleading you as a father." So, I think that's the issue. I mean, you heard him talking to Richard Jefferson. You overheard a conversation with him. So, I think he's made it clear that he's okay with the critique of basketball and, Bronny as a player, but he felt like it was personal when he said, "as a father." And I don't understand why you'd have an issue with LeBron calling out Stephen A. I mean, if you have a problem with LeBron doing this, I don't understand what you're doing. I mean, he's only returning the favor. Stephen A's got his chance to speak on multiple different platforms. LeBron stayed silent until now. So if you're mad about this, I think you're just a complete hater, honestly. I don't think there's any reason to get mad at LeBron for what he said about Stephen A. Smith, because honestly, I think he's just letting his emotions out at once. So maybe you feel like, oh man, he's just being disrespectful, he's going all in. There's no reason to get mad at LeBron for this. I mean, Stephen A. Smith brought it upon himself. He talked about it on several platforms. So LeBron, I just feel like he has the obligation to feel like he needs to say something. And then also, let's get into this. I mean, Brian Windhorst, he said something about LeBron signing with Nike, and LeBron took exception to that. He also said, Michael Jordan is the reason LeBron wears 23, which is true. I mean, LeBron addressed that himself. He said Michael Jordan is the reason he wears 23. And then Windy, I think he said, Michael Jordan is the reason LeBron signed with Nike. Obviously, that's not true. LeBron said he got a signing bonus and everything, and then he moved his mom out of, I believe he said, he moved his mom out of poverty in the next couple days or whatever he said. I don't remember the exact words. But, man, Windy has historically defended LeBron. I mean, there's so many other people, and I think LeBron's mindset is that they're just not worth mentioning. I get it. I mean, Skip Bayless, I don't think LeBron really thinks he's worth mentioning at all. And maybe that's why he kind of has that lack of a better word, respect for Stephen A. Smith and Brian Windhorst's platform, so maybe that's why he calls him out. But Windy has historically been a LeBron defendant. I mean, his criticism, you can't dissect what Brian Windhorst said and just make it seem like he's just like been a hater your whole career. I mean, he's defended you as white. I believe his mom was your teacher, your English teacher in high school, or something like that. So I'm not sure. Maybe there's like a long history that just kind of built up. Maybe because I've never seen LeBron go at Brian Windhorst like that. I mean, from what I've seen, LeBron has interacted with Brian Windhorst. I'm pretty sure they've had conversations, and I've seen LeBron respond in pressers to Brian Windhorst questions. So I'm not sure where it came from. If it's just that one thing, I think that's interesting because Brian Windhorst has been one of his biggest defenders. I mean, Windy's like kind of been like he's been like every time Stephen A. maybe you see a criticism of LeBron, Brian Windhorst is usually opposing it. So it's interesting to see him go at Brian Windhorst like that. I mean, if I was LeBron and I was aware of everything going at me, I would go after like guys like obviously these guys may not be worth mentioning to him, but Rob Parker's always been very loud on his voice with LeBron. Michael Rappaport, even though I'm sure he just doesn't want to even like interact with them. Skip Bayless, obviously, and several other talking heads out there. I think LeBron's goal is to just go his entire career without mentioning these guys. So maybe that's what it is. He doesn't really feel the need to mention them, but Wendy's. This one was interesting to me, LeBron. I mean, you clap back at Windhorst, one of your biggest like defenders, and yeah, I get you had a problem with what he said, but it is interesting. I mean, you just called him weird and whatever. So it is what it is, but LeBron is entitled to what he thinks. He's LeBron James. His platform is monstrous, and every single thing that he says is going to get dissected. And like he talked about, every single thing that a player does gets dissected, and especially a player like him. I mean, the greatest star in the NBA in terms of like popularity and everything. So obviously he's going to be kind of scrutinized. He's the most scrutinized athlete in the modern era for sure. And then lastly, I wanted to get into this. He said Giannis could score 250. You guys know I don't have an issue with what LeBron said in the first two. I said I think the Windhorst thing was more interesting. I didn't really have an issue with it, but this one I just don't think it's necessary. I mean, I kind of get it because the old heads have done a long-standing history of just kind of hating on this generation of NBA players. They're calling it soft. They say the game is, if they played in our era, it would be soft. We'd average this many points. I mean, Dennis Rodman, he talked about how MJ would average 55 points a game this era. Like, it's interesting because, like, I don't agree with this, but I think what he's trying to do here is, in a way, he's trying to return the favor. All the old guys, I mean, Magic Johnson, he said, like, oh, like, these guys could not play. Like, we would kill this era. If you look at some things, maybe, I don't know if Jordan has spoken about this or even Kobe, but they, maybe Bird, Wilt, Kareem, maybe Kareem said something, I'm sure. Like, I think that was a kind of a message to them. I'm sure LeBron has had some issues with some guys maybe in the 70s. Like, Kareem and him have they don't have a great relationship, obviously. They've had their issues, their back and forths, I guess, indirectly, not with each other, of course, but I don't know, maybe that there was just something deeper to it. And LeBron is very intelligent. He knows what he's saying, he knows what he's doing, so I'm just wondering if there was something behind this, because obviously he loves Giannis. Giannis is phenomenal. Like, I still think it's interesting, though, because you're talking about a guy that he hasn't proven he's above Kareem and Julius Erving yet. I think he obviously will prove. Definitely, Dr. J. I mean, look, Dr. J is incredible. But it's interesting because Kareem is probably the third best player of all time behind this guy and MJ. So, Giannis scoring 250 is an interesting quote to me. I mean, if LeBron's trying to return the favor, I would say to LeBron, like, you don't need to disrespect, like, the older generation. I mean, let them do the disrespecting. I mean, two wrongs don't make a right at the end of the day. But regardless, if you really believe that, like, I'm sure he doesn't mean 250. He's just exaggerating. But he's saying, like, we got to compare players to our own eras, but we can't disregard other eras. But in a way, he's doing the same thing. So I just think that one is a little bit hypocritical by LeBron. So I don't agree with this. I mean, I think it's a little disrespectful for the guys that, let's face it, they've paved the way for this generation. regardless of what you think of them, regardless of what they've said, they have paved the way. You can look at like any profession and say that. I mean, like Stuart Scott, for example, like Stephen A was talking about, like he said Stuart Scott paved the way for, guys like us. So I kind of get it, like what that type of criticism for LeBron. But if you have an issue with what he said overall, like if you're just like, you guys are the same guys that criticize LeBron, and then like he doesn't respond for 20 years. Now that he responds, you have an issue. So I just think it's hypocritical on your behalf. If you think LeBron's hypocritical, you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say that, okay, well, I mean, maybe he does have a right to respond. I mean, he's LeBron James. He's one of the nicest dudes. Like, you guys may think he's an asshole and whatever. I never understood that. He's such a great dude. I could listen to him talk all day. And you see a side of him that just, he had no filter. He just spewed whatever he wanted. Yeah, are people going to take offense to it? Absolutely. Especially Stephen A. I know that for a fact. But he let himself loose. So I get it. I mean, LeBron, I've never seen a side of him like this. And I kind of like that edge that he has about himself. I think he's just finally tired of the disrespect. Called out Windy. He called out Stephen A. He's called out many other dudes. I'm sure he's going to continue to call them out. But he's got a big platform, so he can say whatever he wants. And the fact that he chose to remain silent, I mean, that shows that he's got great restraint. Because I'm sure this was on his mind and just built up that he wanted to get out there. And Pat McAfee was a perfect, I guess, way for him to do that. So I get it. I didn't agree with everything he said. Obviously the Giannis 250 thing, I don't agree with those comments. But in general, I am kind of surprised about the Windy ones. But Stephen A., I just don't. There's no reason for you guys to get mad at him. I mean, he just responded after Stephen A. went on a world tour and went on talking about every single platform that you could mention about the situation with him and LeBron James. So do what you want with that, guys. I appreciate you guys. You guys know I ride with LeBron, but if he's warranted criticism, I'm gonna give it to him, just like any other guy that is a basketball aficionado. And this situation, obviously I love basketball a lot. This situation is always kind of anything to do with LeBron. I mean, I'm always it's just fun to keep your eye on. But you guys have a great one, and I'll see you guys next time.